Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Defining Discipline podcast. I'm your host, Scott. This is episode 332, as well as day 332 of my journey. At the beginning of the year, I challenged myself to run 365 days in a row, all outside, bearing the elements, whatever they may bring here in Michigan. I also challenged myself to run 1,500 miles within this yearly time frame, and to also run two big races within this yearly time frame. One of those races being a 50K ultra marathon trail race, the Yankee Springs 50K trail race out in Middleville, Michigan. That was on day 156 of my journey. Finished that 31-mile race within 7 hours, 15 minutes, and 22 seconds. The next race that came up within this yearly time frame was the Detroit Free Press Marathon. That was on day 290 of my journey, and was able to run that race within 3 hours, 57 minutes, and 28 seconds. So both of those races were personal records for me. And as you can tell, we are now on day 332. So was able to keep the run streak alive as well after both of those races. So let's break down the mileage for the day today, day 332. Got out there and put in 9.3 miles for the day, exactly a 15K, or 15K, and that put me at 50.4 miles for the week, which put me at 201.7 miles for the month. That put me at 1,561.1 miles for the year. So first thing we can talk about is have broken the yearly mileage of 1,500 miles. We are currently 61.1 miles over that yearly mileage goal. Now kind of shooting for a new yearly mileage goal of 1,750. So we're sitting right now currently at 1,561. But other news to talk about in general is the monthly miles. So we're sitting here 28 days into the month, and I have broken 200 miles for the month. This is a personal record for me. I did do over 200 miles in the month of July, but just broke 200 miles within the 31 days, I believe it was, in July. So now we're here 28 days, 4 weeks within this month, and was able to just pop off 50 miles each week. First week, I think I did 52 miles. Second week and third week, I did 49.5 miles. And then this week right here, popped out 50.4 miles. So sitting now at 201.7 with still 2 days left to set a personal record for the month. So really stoked about that as well. Not only to mention that as 201.7 miles for the monthly miles, but another thing to talk about monthly miles for is every single month I challenge myself to run a 100-mile challenge, and I do it in honor of a charity in which I donate money to, as well as start a coinciding fundraiser to try to raise money and awareness for throughout that month. So for the first 10 months, was able to raise money for 10 great charities. Now we're here within the 11th month, the month of November, and we're raising money for yet another great charity. November's 100-mile challenge is in honor of Movember. So if you'd like to find out more about this month's charity, as well as make your donations and be able to click on that share button to help raise awareness for this cause and charity, you can find the link to do so on the Defining Discipline Instagram story, the Defining Discipline Facebook story, or my personal page's Instagram story, or my personal page's Facebook story. Within those stories, all you do is you click on um, the actual link within the stories. It'll open up the Facebook page where you're able to do all three, learn more about the cause, make your donations, as well as be able to help raise awareness by clicking on that share button. Um, Keep in mind that all donations that get made to this cause go directly to this cause. Facebook is not taking or keeping any portion or percentage of your donations. So all donations go directly to the cause. And another thing to keep in mind is if you donate on November 30th, it is Giving Tuesday, and Facebook has also made the agreement not only to not take any percentage of your donations on any donations you make, but if you donate on November 30th, they will match your donation. So if you donate $20, they'll donate $20, so your actual donation will be worth $40. So keep that in mind. If you'd like to help out this month's cause and fundraiser, do it on the 30th, and all your donations will get doubled. Um, Other than that, let's kind of get ready to actually get into today's episode. But right before we do that, we are going to talk about the word of the day. And the word of the day is menorah. A menorah is a candelabra with 7 or 9 lights that is used in Jewish worship. So we can all bring that up real quick. I do believe tonight is the first night of Hanukkah, so happy Hanukkah. But now let's get right into today's actual episode. Episode 332. Today's theme for today's episode is capable. So episode 332, day 332, today's episode is capable. And I wanted to talk about that because of what just happened, to really understand what you're capable of. First off, to think back a few years ago, even at the beginning of the year, to kind of have doubts in what I'm actually truly capable of, to have an idea of what a possibility could be, but not really knowing if you're truly capable. Having slight hope and belief that you do, but also having that fear in the back of your mind that maybe you truly aren't capable of doing what you want to do. And I remember, starting off running, thinking that, especially with running a marathon and, running the first marathon, thinking, am I really capable of doing this? Am I going to be able to make it through this, or am I going to give up? And, part of me in the back of my mind kept telling myself, you're probably going to give up. You're just going to give up. But I had enough still in me to tell myself, no, you're not going to give up. You're going to do this. You are capable of this. So a lot of it has to do with overall mindset, but to also know your limitations, because you can have the mindset that you are capable of doing it, but if it's beyond your actual limitations, the odds of actually doing it probably aren't good. So with me running that first marathon that I ran, it wasn't like I just went out there one day and ran a marathon. I actually had put in some time and some work to try to run that first unofficial marathon that I ran in 2020. And again, it wasn't enough because I didn't do a great time and a great job on that first marathon, but I did finish. So it was being able to do that and seeing that I was capable of doing that, and then seeing where I was at within the yearly mileage that I had in 2020. I was shooting for 1,000 miles, and I really had to pump out 125 miles for the month of November and the month of December in order just to finish at that 1,000 mile mark for the year that I was going for in 2020. And I really had to push for that because I kind of fell behind throughout the year, and I really pushed for that after running that marathon and kind of thinking, I can do this. I am capable of doing this. Kind of got the the energy and the courage to kind of really push myself even forward into doing that and being able to finish that year off strong, realizing I was going to hit that 1,000-mile mark, realizing I need to do something even bigger, and boom, here we are today, by challenging myself to run every single day this year. And at the beginning of the year, I thought, I know I'm capable of doing it. I know I can run every single day in the year. I could go out there and just run 1.5 miles, and then my mileage would just go down drastically, but I think I'd be able to do it. I know people have done it and people are doing it. So being capable of doing that was in the back of my mind. But then adding all the other things like the races on top of it and trying to hit a certain amount of mileage for the year on top of it, there was part of me that, again, I had that fear in the back of my mind saying, well, really, are you capable of doing it? And again, I knew my limitations, and I went and I kind of brought it right to the limitations throughout this whole entire year. There's been months where I've really pushed myself, including this month, really putting in a lot of miles to really push myself hard to finish this year off strong. And by doing so, it's kind of really playing with the idea of injury or anything like that. So I'm trying to really take it easy and play it safe while still putting in these miles. And, like I said, throughout the year, there's been plenty of times where I'm thinking, oh, maybe I'm not going to be capable of this. But I think it was after being able to just do that first month, after going through that first 30 days and being like, okay, you made it 1 month. Like, if I can make it a month, I can keep going. I can keep doing it. What was 1 month? I can do this 11 more times. And being able to tell myself that by getting enough insight out of doing it just that 1 month and being like, all right, I can stretch this out. And each month kind of pushing myself a little more and a little bit more and a little bit more, and kind of seeing where that limitation was at while realizing what I am capable of. And then getting to, June and pumping out a 50K in June and realizing, going into that was another huge fear I had of, I know in the back of my mind, I can run this. There's going to be probably lots of walking within the actual 50K of going uphill and downhill and being in the woods for that long. And, my body is probably going to have to take some, miles of just walking through instead of just always constantly running. I realized that. I knew I wasn't going to get the best time possible. And I had set in the back of my mind a way faster time than what I finished. So, but getting out there, being there with the elevation, out there in the hills, in the trees, in the summer, it was a challenge. And there was a lot of times being out there and going into the day being really nervous. The night before, being really nervous, thinking, am I really capable of doing this? I have ran every single day this year, including up to this day right now that I'm about to run this 31-mile race. And then I'm supposed to run tomorrow to continue the streak because I'm 156 days in now. I can't stop at 156. I got to go 157 tomorrow. And I got 156 as a 31-mile race. I'm capable of doing this. But am I? So I kept, having this question in the back of my mind and realizing, no, you're capable of doing this. Pushing myself while I was out there. Realizing after that first loop, getting out there on that second loop, running through mile 26 and just feeling good. Feeling, all right, we're halfway home now. We're almost there. Realizing, yes, I'm capable of doing this. And it was the next day of being really worried of how tight my body was, how sore I was, of being able to continue the streak. That was another big, am I really capable of doing this? This is the big first test within. This is the bigger test within the first test. There's like 2 tests within the first test of me doing a big race. It's the race and the day after, and am I capable of doing this? And I got out there and ran a really slow, pretty sure it was 1.5 miles, I believe. I did it in downtown Wyandotte. me, my dad, the baby, my wife, we all went down there to eat and get some food and stuff. I believe they were setting up for street fair. They had something going on. Maybe it was dog walking in the park or some sort of thing was going on. But I just ran up. It wasn't street fair. I think it was the dog Biddle bark on Biddle, and I just ran up and down Biddle until I think I got a mile and a half, and it was a really slow, awful run. It probably looked like someone had just beat me up, or probably looked like I was like a 99-year-old man trying to run, just like really bad and stiff. But getting out there, and once getting out there and realizing, all right, I can slowly, work my way through this and feel where the soreness is at, feel where my tightness is at, and try to avoid the areas and keep a nice steady pace. I'm capable of doing this, keeping the streak alive and doing it, and realizing again that finding what we are capable of by pushing ourselves. There's always, and you have to push yourself to a limit where, again, there's a huge chance of maybe you can fail. There, you need that chance of failure, but realizing when you're capable of doing something with that chance of failure, and you obtain it, and you do it, you start to really get some more strength to continue to push on. And then again came the actual marathon, where I was shooting for a sub 4 hour time and really pushed it right out of the gate, pushed it a little too hard, almost if I would have finished at how fast I pushed it for the first 18 miles, I would have finished within like 3 hours and 25 minutes, I believe, is where I was at with the pacer. But the wall hit me pretty hard, went a little too hard, too fast, and eventually still got my sub 4 hour time. So I was really happy about that. But again, it was all about telling myself, no, you're capable of doing this. And all these nerves still came up that day of the race. And the same nerves that came up with the 31 mile race, the 50K that I just did earlier in the year, you'd think, oh, I'm only doing a 26 miler. Clearly, I can run the day after. Those still same fears of how tight I'd be came up after, because I went a lot harder for a faster time in this race than I did in the 50K. I knew I was going to go for a little bit faster, on top of running more miles the day before the actual marathon by doing the Motor City Challenge and doing the competitive 1 mile and the competitive 5K the day before the actual marathon. That kind of really made me question a lot of things too. But the main thing again about this episode, I don't want to keep touching on my previous years, which is what I pretty much did this whole episode, but it's to realize that you are capable of great things, and to really push yourself to do those great things. And once you realize you're capable of doing them, you continue to push yourself farther and harder and farther and farther and farther to do harder things. To tell myself I'd be able to run over 200 miles and then still maybe push it to 200 and maybe 15 miles. We'll see where we go with this. In a month is insane. To tell myself that a year ago, to tell myself that 2 years ago, both times I probably tell you you're crazy. That's not going to happen. 1 year ago, I probably tell you it's not going to happen for a while. 2 years ago, I just tell you it's not happening. So it's crazy to think how far you can truly come, and how much we are truly capable of if we work on something on a day-to-day basis and truly just take the time and patience at trying to get better at something. So for your daily discipline today, it is to do the same. It is try to be to realize how much you are capable of. You are capable of doing so much more than what you truly are doing and what you truly believe you can do. You just got to push yourself and really continue to push yourself to your limits, but also to realize your limits, because you don't want to push yourself too far beyond them, but you do want to push yourself a little bit farther each time, and each time you're going to become more and more capable. So that's your daily discipline for the day, day 332. Other than that, thank you guys so much for following along and listening to the Defining Discipline podcast. I'm your host, Scott. Like I said, this is episode 332. If you guys can, please give the podcast a like, a subscribe, a follow, and a share on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and whatever podcast streaming platform you've been following along and listening on. Other than that, just stay disciplined, guys, and try to work on ourselves on an individual level, because I truly believe that is how we make the world a better place, is by working on ourselves. And there's so much that I need to work on, and I'm going to try to continue to do that. So this is day 332. Until tomorrow, stay disciplined and peace out. Thanks.